Hey, Eddie, I just want to ask you, do you ever think it'll be possible there will be like an Eddie Van Halen or a Van Halen museum, like showcasing all his guitars, his amps, stage clothes, Alex's drums, etc.?
You know, John, anything's possible, and that would be really cool if it happened, and obviously very deserving. He did have a exhibit when, I think in New York, one of the museums in New York a summer or two ago did a big rock exhibit, and Eddie Van Halen did contribute some stuff to that at the time and was part of that exhibit. Whether there would be one solely dedicated to Van Halen, and thank you, John, for the call, who knows? As I've been saying consistently since we lost Eddie, this is all really going to be interesting to watch what the family decides going forward. Did Eddie give them any wishes, anything, hey, like, I'm cool with this or don't do that? Or it's all going to come down really, I think, to his son and his brother making these decisions. It's going to come down to whether they're going to want music to come out from the archives, whether they're going to want movies, videos, documentaries, museums, exhibits. Will any of that come out? Will that be something that they'll be okay with? We don't know. You see, sometimes when people pass away, they don't have family members to look after their stuff and manage their estate. They will assign somebody to do that, and they will let somebody manage that for them and make a deal with someone to do that. And that's why sometimes you see stuff instantly start flying out when somebody passes away. Like when Prince died, they turned Paisley Park into a museum very, very quickly. Other times, nothing happens. In the instance with Van Halen, you have his son and you have his brother, who I'm sure, have some idea of what they want to do, and we'll find out when they're ready to talk about it as things come up. And obviously, in the case of his son, you've got somebody that's got a long life ahead of him that could easily oversee the Van Halen world for the next 50 years, and probably will. And what that's going to mean and what that's going to encompass, we just don't know. What we do know is while Eddie Van Halen was alive, and especially in the last 25 years of his life, virtually nothing was signed off on. Nothing came out. There was zero, virtually, that came out. Will that change? That's really the big question, and we don't know. And that would affect everything from exhibits to museums to music to videos to potential movies, documentaries, biopics, everything. All of that would have to be signed off on by, I would assume, Wolfie and Alex Van Halen, and we just don't know what the thinking is, and it's probably way too soon to even think about it. But, you're starting to see things move pretty quickly here. I mean, you're already seeing people starting to auction things off and stuff like that. So who knows? But as far as, is there anything official from the family on anything about the future and unreleased stuff or any plans or even a tribute or a memorial or even, as I said a week ago, we don't know. And it's not their business to tell us. They will if and when they're comfortable doing so. But where is he being laid to rest? Where has he been laid to rest if he has already? I mentioned in Los Angeles, there's a very, very famous, for lack of a better term, cemetery. It's called Forest Lawn. I've been there. Dio's buried there. Lemmy is buried there. And I hosted the funeral and memorial for Dio when he died there. There's a chapel on the grounds. That is a place where there's a lot of musicians and actors and actresses that are laid to rest. Is it going to be something like that, or is there not going to be any monument? Because that's something important to know if you're fans, that you might want to pay your respects in a respectful way if it's made public. So we don't have any information at all here, a couple weeks after this all happened. But when we do, and the family's comfortable putting it out there, I'll share what we can share. Charles in Jersey. Hi, Charles.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Been listening to you since the metal show, and surprising since we're both around the same age. I'm up in North Jersey. I never actually was able to get VHA because every time I would drive in the car, if I faced a certain way, it would go be on and then it'd be off. I have a question.
That was before the days of streaming, too, so it was your only option. I remember what Charles is talking about is the first radio station I worked at in my life from 83 to 94, which is still in operation. It's a station in northern New Jersey, WDHA, great rock station, and those years there was no streaming, and I used to hear from people that would be in certain parts of the state or maybe over the water in New York, and they would do crazy things with antennas and put aluminum foil on just to try to pull my show in or the signal in. So yeah, that's that was the pre-streaming world where you couldn't go on the web and punch up a radio station and listen to it.
Okay, now I'll give you my pretty much both Van Halen's, Hagar and Sammy's were both pretty much the same as you. It was exactly the same as you. Because we pretty much grew up around the same. I agree with you. The first 4 records you can't touch them. And I love Sammy because my first concert was the Monsters of Rock concert where I got to see like Metallica, Scorpions, Dokken, and Sammy at the end with Van Halen. It was a great show. So, I heard something about Oz Fox's had a seizure last night.
Had a seizure when? Had a seizure when?
He had it on Thursday. Some Thursday night on the 26th. That was yesterday. I picked it up on one of those.
Where'd you see that online, Charles?
Blabbermouth, I think it popped up on. He had a couple of pictures. I think it was. Yeah, because he had a couple of pictures of him. He was in the hospital with his wife, giving the thumbs up. I guess everything is fine, but I think he said he's waiting. He's still got another month before he gets a surgery operation on that tumor.
Yeah, well, Charles, thank you for the call. I didn't see that if it just happened yesterday, but I was asking about that the timeline there because Oz. What Charles is talking about is the guitar player and striper Oz Fox. He was revealed a few months ago that he was dealing with some tumors in his brain, and he already was in the hospital. He was out. He made the new album with Stryper, which came out, and last Monday on my Sirius XM show on Monday nights on Hair Nation, I had Michael Sweet of Stryper on. And I believe on that show, they're archiving the interviews too. If you missed it, it might be on the app. But I asked Michael last Monday, this past week, Monday, how Oz was doing. And I was glad that he was able to make the record with them. And Michael was very candid with me live on the air when he said, he's still not out of the woods. They're still trying to figure out what exactly is wrong with him, how they're going to tackle it. He still has some procedures and things that have to be done. So it was a bit sobering to hear. I was hoping for better news for Oz. He's a wonderful guy. And according to our caller, maybe he had another incident or seizure of some sort related to what he's going through medically. But I hope he's okay. He lives in Vegas. And I was really happy when I saw him part of the new Stryper record. But Michael, when he was on with me on Monday, said he is still dealing with stuff they're really not quite sure. They're still waiting on more tests to see what exactly is causing these problems and what's going on. It's just obviously, needless to say, incredibly scary stuff dealing with what he's dealing with. So wish him nothing but the best, and I'll see what else I can find out about that. Thank you for the call. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More of your calls coming up on Trunk Nation. And a shout out here before we toss it to Alex for the news. My friend and photographer Mark Weiss is doing a virtual gallery, if you will, for his book, The Decade That Rocked. It's an event called Welcome to My Exhibition, tying in with Alice Cooper and Halloween theme. And it's going to happen on October 30th, so a week from today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It supports the Monmouth Museum in Monmouth, New Jersey. And there's going to be some live performances, including Sirius XM's own Keith Roth. And a good friend, Keith, is going to be doing a performance with his band. And there's going to be a bunch of guests, including Dee Snider, Yngwie Malmsteen, Rudy Sarzo, Zach Wilde. Just for clarity, these guests are not going to be at this Monmouth Museum. This is all being done virtually. You can learn more at Meet Hook, Meet spelled MEET.